When we do the audit, we look at internal controls to help us assess our risk. At a high level, we go through processes just to understand what controls are in place. And then we do selective tests to go through and test those controls. The wording in these is not ideal, but it's just the standard where you have a deficiency in internal control over financial reporting, with all the adjustments that have to be made at the end of the year to get a full set of full accrual financial statements. That is considered a significant deficiency. We're aware of the adjustments that have to be made, but we do have to get all that information pulled together to make those adjustments to get the full accrual statements at the end of the year. So again, we're going to set some time with the clerk to get into the processes for monthly, quarterly, or annual reconciliations as they are appropriate for the various accounts and schedules. Also is a final version of the audit that I have brought. Again, no significant changes from the prior version that we went through at the last meeting. The audit report is included in here if it's accepted. I can go through high-level numbers again if you'd like, but if not, we'll move on to if you have any questions or anything else that you would like to know from me at this point.
We spoke earlier in last meeting, I asked you about having a more detailed audit on the court system.
And I'm going to be working with the clerk to get all that information together because we're going to have to pull some information from a lot of sources to get that full schedule.
Okay, because I can't vote to approve this budget till I see that. In other words, that's what I want to see is how them funds, if they balance out. So, it's kind of important we get it.
And technically that is outside the scope of the traditional audit, but I don't have a problem doing it.
Yes, ma'am.
But just from the standpoint of the report.
For me to say the audit's correct, I need to know them numbers are correct. And I want to know where all the funds go, how they're collected, who collects them. We've never done that.
Jay, I know I have to give the council a audit, but as long as we present the audit to them, I think I've fulfilled my obligation. Is that correct?
You've presented one, they've not accepted it, but we presented one actually this is official, but we presented it at the last meeting as well.
But we didn't vote to accept it. That's what I'm saying. So if we, tonight, if the council chooses, then we can vote to accept it, or if they don't, I'd just like to make sure that we note that the audit has been presented in completion tonight. And we can go back and answer the questions. I don't care when that may.
Mayor, I can't see where you can say it's all presented when I can't be answered these questions.
Well, I'm saying that
I'm asking questions with no answers, so.
Right. And I'm not saying you got to vote, Bubba, for the approval. I'm just saying that the general obligation that we have to give regarding our bonds and our debts and everything else is being reported as fairly as we know how at this point. That's all. You're asking for some more specific details regarding specific accounts and those things. I'm not saying we won't get it, and I don't think she hadn't either. I'm just saying that that I have to show that I have presented an audit to the city council.
And this fellow, what she's presented is what is considered a legal audit of the books. You have the right to ask for additional information for specific accounts. This is what is a standard audit that is presented under the accounting guidelines to the city.
But I just feel like if I vote for it, we won't see it once we approve the budget.
I'm not saying you have to vote for it, but I'm just trying to
Right.
explain what's being presented is what is a normal.
I understand
audit
all that. Yes, sir.
that would be requested and what was the account was engaged.
Okay.
And I will, we spoke earlier about trying to schedule a time to get together to pull all the pieces together from the different sources. And it's just a matter of getting it scheduled. do it.
Is there anything, Aaron, that you'd like to give us tonight that you can tell us good, bad, or any kind of closing statement before we meet?
I mean, overall, again, the city operated with a positive increase in the net assets, so obviously that's good. Mr. Skelton did clarify last time, I think, that the bond rating last year had been increased, based on that report. Last year showed us a profit as well, 9/30/21. So ideally, this should also continue to show, good improvement in the health of the city. The water board as well had, an increase in their overall as well. So, growth. Lots of exciting things.
Y'all have any other questions you'd like to present? And we would like for you to try to schedule a meeting with Jessica, who's we've hired as our assistant city clerk and seems to be doing a good job, and perhaps we can answer the questions that any of the council members has.
Absolutely. Happy to do
Okay.
so.
Well, I'd like to appreciate you coming out.
Yes, sir.
2 council meetings, and we'll look forward to scheduling that meeting and trying to answer the questions. Thank you. If y'all don't mind, a little out of order, but Paula, would you like to come forward? Because I think you'd be able to leave, and after yours real quick. Paula, if you would, just give your name for the record and tell them what you want to do, and I think.
All right, my name is Paula Goff, and I am owner of 43 Vintage Market in Satsuma. And what we would like to do, this has been in my mind for 2 years, but the COVID kind of took us by surprise. But I want to do an art walk for our community. And in the art walk, really try to incorporate business to participate and help businesses be recognized, but real art also. And so I need you to graciously agree with me that we could shut the streets down so that people could walk. And I'm just going to give you what I'm thinking in my head right now, but it's like Orange, and then where the church is by you, I think it is, the First Baptist Church, that and the park section. And if I could work it out, I would even go down to the library, because that's just something that, and this is all in my head right now. But I just want to get permission that when we get it set on paper and finalized, that I could get that street shut down so cars and stuff couldn't come through. And we have a lot planned, and I believe that would be an asset to our community if you let me do this.
I told her I didn't really see a real problem shutting down around the park, basically between Orange and Bayou. I mean, that gives by the sidewalk, people would set up around the park. I'm not sure about going very much further and
Right.
and
That's
closing
just me
Bayou
thinking.
or something, but I guess we can let you go ahead and plan it, because if we go ahead and vote to close a street and we need to kind of be a little more specific.
Okay.
in what our plans are and the times, because we have to state that, that the streets will be closed during these times on that date.
Okay, well, I already reserved the park for June the 2nd.
Okay.
All right, and the time would be from 6 to 9. And I spoke with Mike Davis, and he's going to get with me on how, the Christmas, how they kind of lay out and everything. But those areas that you just mentioned are fine. I'm also going to get in contact with First Baptist Church and see if we can overflow parking there, so that it
June
won't
2nd will be a Friday night.
it'll be a Friday night from 6 to 9.
I don't really see a problem if y'all don't on Friday night to close the area around the park. I'm not sure about Orange or Bayou now, but at least at this point, I mean, if the thing grows or becomes really big or something,
Yeah,
I mean,
we can revisit, but,
Right.
like you turn on Orange, well, you're not gonna want, traffic to be able to come cut through there. It'd have to go another direction. And same thing with the Baptist
Be
Church.
pretty much like it is, Paula, when we have the Christmas Day parade and all, them sections. we
Exactly.
close.
Yeah, it's, that's it.
If I could make a recommendation, so when we do the pet parade, we just block off the back street, and not 43, because I find that a lot of people park on 43. And then we did have vendors in the park and then on that backside like you're talking about.
Right.
And it seemed to be enough room, and I mean, what you have envisioned, yes, I could see that it would grow. But I would be afraid that people, if they had to walk too far, they might not want to park there.
Well,
Or
we're not-
might not want to participate if they had to go down to the Baptist church or over to, this, because that other parking would be back here.
All due respect, I disagree with you, and I'll tell you why.
I mean, that's up to, okay, I was just,
Yeah.
sure.
Because the Baptist church and the street, there's only one little street there, and it's, plus I have a golf cart, I could go get them. So,
Okay, well, there's no opposition. Why don't you get with Sergeant Wilcutt? And
Okay.
he can come by, I'm sure, any day and put something,
All
help
right.
us formalize what you're saying so he can present it to the council on what, we need to do, and we can get it done, I
All
think,
right.
between now and then. That
Sounds
shouldn't be a
good.
problem, should it, to meet with her, and let's get
All
that
right.
in?
I'll give him my number, and I didn't mean to act
Right.
disrespectful at all.
No, it was
Okay.
just, it's fine.
All right.
Because
thank
that
you.
is a lot of parking, but I mean, this is your thing, so.
Yeah,
Thank
well,
you.
well, good luck. I hope it'll be
All right.
successful.
It
We
is,
look
y'all all
forward to
show
it.
up.
Definitely be there. Good Lord willing, okay. Alan, you want to come on up? I might be able to get y'all out of here regarding the sidewalk project. Thanks, Paula.
Yes, thank you, guys.
Good evening. I've given each of you a portion of the application that we submitted to the MPO for the sidewalk application. This is for sidewalks back in the Vaughn area, as well as tying in at Powers Road and Hannah Chase Way. This was awarded by the MPO. It's moving very fast. I believe that the FHWA has already approved it. So
They have.
Mayor, if I understood that email right, at the next MPO meeting, they're going to authorize us to begin.
It's
So
supposed to.
we're here tonight to request authorization to begin work as well. Just as a reminder, this project, we included the project map, your original resolution, the original cost estimate that you saw. Your total match on this was just under $154,000, but that'll be spread out over at least 2 fiscal years. The agreement we're here for tonight is in the amount of $52,900. So that'll most likely go very quick because, as the mayor said, everybody's eager to get this project going, especially being the first one with the MPO. So that being said, do you guys have any questions about what is before you? We've done several of these sidewalk projects together at this point, so it should be old hat.
Total project's $557,000.
That's correct. So the total project cost here is $557,550. You received $403,720 in grant funds.
Right.
So if you do the math, it's advertised as an 80-20 program, but by the time you pay for your engineering, it's more like a 75-25, 70-30. So, and just a reminder, in front of the community garden, we are still planning to make significant drainage improvements and parking improvements in that area, assuming that pricing holds.
Right. Okay.
It's what we discussed. There's nothing really changed on that. Do y'all have any?
So just gave you this as a reminder because I know a lot's happened since we submitted. Any questions? If not, Ms. Jessica, I've sent you the agreement, so just as soon as we get that back signed, we'll get survey crew mobilized. Within 3 weeks, we'll hope to have a sit-down with whoever wants to participate in that and have final plans off to the MPO within 6 to 8 weeks. So,
Y'all to see the pictures and all we have in
Yeah, right here.
didn't
These
hear
here,
you.
case there's any questions.
and pictures.
it
Your
is.
packet.
Alan, I appreciate the work. Thank you.
Absolutely. If you got any questions, you know where to find me. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Mayor, you gonna want a motion on that?
Well, we will in our regular meeting
Yeah,
tonight.
that's what I'm saying. Do you
Yes, sir,
want-
I will.
I'll do it.
I can second it if we're interested in writing that down.
Mr. Phillips and Ms. Reese. Okay. All right, well, our time's moving on, so. All right, the ladies' club is here. I know, would you like to come on up before the council here in pre-council and kind of,
Judy Callen, 5603 Orchard Street, Satsuma, Alabama. I'd like to save my main order of business for the regular council meeting if that meets the council's approval. But I would like to just bring you a little up to date. On Thursday afternoon at 2 o'clock, we're going to have dedication of our stained glass window, and it's going to be installed. And the person that built that's a longtime Saraland and Satsuma resident, and he built this free of charge for us, and he'll be there. He graduated from a class of 1961. The stained glass will be in memory of Miss Atchison and dedicated to the class of 1961. So if you have nothing to do at 2 o'clock this Thursday afternoon, we'd love for you to come. I do have an estimate for the second phase of the building that we'll be talking about if it meets your approval during the second half of the meeting, so I'd like to pass those out.
Who built the window?
Richard Aldridge. He did stained glass as hobby.
Right.
He was career military, I think, so. But I'd like to pass out these to you so you can be looking at them, and I'll make my presentation during the regular meeting.
okay?
Thank you.
Is there anyone else tonight that's
That's a
planning
pretty
to
piece of
approach the
glass
council?
that- Yeah, I saw it on Facebook.
Well, if not, then we will, we'll move forward, we'll move on to paying the bills and then our resolution ordinances. And, as we just said on that, resolution 2023-0401, which is nothing but the sidewalks that we have been discussing that Alan just finished, and that's going to be Mr. Phillips, Ms. Reese, second. Jay, we have just a few minutes. Would you like to give them just a little bit of update on this ordinance 546? This is the jurisdiction outside the corporate limits.
Yeah, what that is the legislature changed some of the laws on that, and we have an opportunity to continue maintaining the jurisdiction of 1.5 or 3 miles past the city limits for our zoning requirements and meeting our zoning code requirements. If we don't want to do that, the county will take that over, and we don't need to vote on anything. It just, they will take it over by the law passed by the legislature. If we want to continue to maintain that barrier and it be subject to our zoning requirements, then we need to adopt an ordinance that authorizes the mayor to execute the documents. Once the planning commission, they also have to adopt an agreement with the county that they'll administer it for us. That our planning board will administer our ordinances within that jurisdiction limit. Once that's done, and then once the county approves that agreement, then that'll take place. But if we adopt the ordinance tonight, it'll just give the authority that we're in, the intent of the ordinance is to take place once these other steps take place.
We are intent of extending the, is that what you're saying?
If we want to do that, y'all got to make a decision. Do we want to allow the county to do it, or do we want to continue to do it ourselves? The county has adopted a set of zoning regulations themselves. If they do it and we don't, it'll be the county's laws that are regulations that apply, not the city's. So the benefit is to keep, if you have future growth of the city, is so when you move into it, you don't have a lot of non-conforming uses.
Same with what we're doing.
It is already zoned what we're doing.
That's what I was wondering, is there any reason why we would not want to extend it?
Unless it's just manpower that we don't want to do that,
Well,
you
what
know.
about, I mean, I'd like to find out what some of the other cities, basically like Saraland, which is our closest, would do. But I would say the 1.5 miles would be way more, as much as we would ever need here. I mean, we don't need the 3-mile radius, I mean, because we're basically surrounded with Saraland and Creole on the other side, so, you know, 1.5 miles from where our city limits are would be way sufficient to try to regulate, I feel like. But I mean, it's up to y'all, I mean, it's gonna require a vote, but, you know, you go from where our city limits are and extend another 1.5 miles, that's pretty good.
Yeah, but as we grow, I mean, right now, you're right, we'd be out that 1.5 miles, we'd hit another city, but if we end up expanding our boundaries, would that still be hold true?
I don't guess we have to vote on it tonight, I'd like for you to look at it, but if you go and you look from where our city limits are, and you go out 1.5 miles, that's going to, takes a pretty good bit of that area. I don't think there's gonna be a lot left, you're gonna be inside of either Saraland or Creole.
And it doesn't go outside of, if you bump up into another city's, your city limits, then it stops.
That's right, it
there.
stops at city limits.
Right.
I think an example would be like the people that came at the last meeting, that, weren't they in the county?
They were.
They could pick. I would say that that would be a circumstance that would fall under. Is that if they were to come and be near us, we would want to make sure that they have what we would require.
Right, and I'm saying you go from where the last property was, and you go 1.5 miles from the last 2 or 3.
I think-
that's
yeah, I think that's
way
plenty.
Off Radcliffe Road.
Yeah, I think it's
So
plenty.
it would be well into either Saraland or Creole, and that's the only place I know we could really go that.
I'm saying if our boundaries expand in the future, then that wouldn't hold true. They could go further north.
I mean, I guess.
I mean, I don't think if the city changes its boundary and they get bigger, then this is gonna follow that.
It just goes 1.5 miles, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but don't think you may not could do it on a specific month, but there would be a point in time that if you wanted to decrease it from 1.5 miles to 3 miles, you could do that. Might be on an annual basis or something like that, but you wouldn't always be stuck at 3 miles.
The county has some regulations we don't, what's concerning me. You know, because all our zoning would be in that 3 miles, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, where the county would allow things in their zoning, we wouldn't.
That's right. That's the benefit of having it, is that you don't
That's
bring
what
in
concerns
property
me.
that, once you bring it in, it's non-conforming, and then you're stuck with
That's
it
right.
until that use is over with.
That's what concerns me about it. I mean, if we're done to 3 miles and it stops in 3/4 of a mile, okay, but we still have it in place for the future, is what I'm thinking. I agree with you, they go stop short of that now.
During our break, let's talk about that, and let's look at the map, and I think you'll see what I'm saying.
You might see what I'm saying too.
That's true. I may. Okay, we've covered everything that was on the agenda for our pre-council. Is there anything else that y'all know of that we need to discuss or bring up? Okay, again, for y'all that haven't been before, we have a pre-council and try to knock out some of the paperwork and things that can move the meeting on further. We appreciate all of you attending tonight, and we're going to conclude the pre-council meeting, and we will see y'all back here in about 20 minutes and start our regular meeting. So thank y'all.
What it is that loss is in probate.
Okay, 7 o'clock, y'all ready?
Yeah, ready.
Y'all ready?
That house is in probate.
Good evening. I would like to welcome you to the Satsuma City Council for our regular council meeting of April the 4th, 2023. Some of you, you'll be your first time being here with us, so we usually start the meeting. We'll have a call to order, which we're doing now. I'd like to remind everyone to please either if you have a cell phone, either silence it or turn it off so it won't disrupt the meeting. We always start the meeting with invocation, so in just a moment, we're going to ask you to stand, remove your caps. We're going to ask Councilmember Randy Little to give the invocation, and if you will, please remain standing, and we're going to have the pledge, and hopefully some of our young people here with us tonight can help us get through the pledge. So if you would, please stand, remove your hats. Mr. Little.
Lord, we thank you for the beautiful day you've given us. We just thank you for the ones that are here this evening, Lord, the families that are here and the kids. We just ask your blessings on them, Father. We just pray for our meeting this evening. Just give us strength to do your will, Lord. We just ask you to be with us, forgive us where we failed you, and we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Little.
We have some seats up here if you guys want to come in. They're standing in the door. We've got a couple on the side and then about 5 up here.
Okay, Jessica, would you give us a roll call, please?
Present.
Present.
Here. Please let the record reflect that all the elected officials are here, along with the city clerk, city attorney, and department heads of the police department, fire department, and from building inspections. We had one of our trucks break down tonight, was having some trouble with them in the trash and sanitation, so Mr. Jones was unable to attend. Next is approval of the agenda. We emailed the agenda to people earlier. In our pre-council tonight, when it was brought up, Mr. Little made a request to add an executive session for approximately 15 minutes to discuss legal matters at the conclusion of our meeting. So y'all won't have to sit and listen to any of that, so it'll be gone. But so we have that one add-on to the agenda. And so now I need to find out if we're going to have a motion to approve the agenda with the one addition.
I'll make the motion.
Motion been made and seconded by Mr. Butler to approve the agenda with the one add-on. And since this is a change, it will require a positive vote from all the members here. So with that being said, is everyone in agreement? Is there any discussion regarding the agenda? Okay, can I get a roll call vote for approving the add-on?
Yes.
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 Barley.
Yes. Okay, the one item will be added to the agenda. The next thing is the approval of the minutes from our prior meeting of March 21st, 2023. I think y'all got them earlier, pre-council. There was no additions and/or corrections. So,
Make that motion. We approve the minutes.
Second.
motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Mr. Phillips to approve the minutes as distributed. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Okay, what most of you are here for tonight is the Key Student, something we look forward to at the first council meeting of every month, where we recognize the students for their achievements and gives us a chance to kind of to brag on our school system, something we're very proud of here, of everybody involved with the system. So on behalf of all the elected officials up here, we thank you as the parents most, because I think that's who the backbone of the school systems are. They support everything. But we have a lot of people affiliated with our school system, administration, board, and all that have done a lot and contributed over the years. So thank you all for that. Keep up the good work. We hope to continue to move up in the rankings through the state, and I think we are noticed through our school system. So we appreciate it. We're going to go up here and call the name. Most of the time, the council members will slide back against the wall, so I'll go up and call the name of the student, and as they come by, they'll go by where Ms. Jones is at over here, forward around, and come by the council where they can all shake hands or high five, whatever they may do, and come around back to the parents. When we complete the recognition of the students, we usually recess for about 5 minutes to allow everybody time to speak for a moment or take pictures if they want to do something, or just basically clear out so that it won't be disruptive when we do go back into our regular order of business. But again, thank all of you for coming. We do appreciate it, and we'll get this up. So if you need me to stop or slow down for somebody to get a picture, just motion me, and I promise you we'll work with you on that. Okay? If y'all ready, we'll go ahead and start the program with them.
When he said that, I was like, well, maybe my email's not on there.
Okay, we're going to start with our kindergartners. Joseph Gray. Joseph, hey, come on up here. Turn around here. Let you get. Let's turn around. Let him get a picture right. You the first one. There you go. Here we go. Come on by. Here you go. Go on around. Show you right there. Milo Holmes. Hey, Milo, come around here. Turn around. See there. You got it?
That's what I'm talking about.
Congratulations. Let's come right here. Come on, man. There you go.
Kylie Kirkland.
Kylie Kirkland. Kylie. Okay. Clayton Clark. Clayton? Down here. There you go. Come on back. Just one more press. Come there. You go right there. That one more round.
John David Rhodes.
John David Rhodes. John, here he is. Hey.
Give her one?
Blakely George. Hey, Blake. Trevor Bernard. Trevor?
What about fist bump for her?
Woods Miller. Wood? Hey. Janice Sasser. Hey. I think it's Arrington. Yeah. Riley Arrington. Riley? First grade now, Jackson Sparks. Jackson? Hey, Jackson. Good to see you. Hey, congratulations, man. Turn around, I'll get that picture of you there. Get it. There you go. Get ready. Come on by this way, right here. There you go. Odessa Lindley. Odessa? Holden Weaver. Holden. Let's see. Okay. Veda Evans. I don't see Veda. Okay. Elijah Darwich. Elias Darwich. Hey, I didn't see you right there. Turn around right here. Kipton Lewis. Kipton. Vanna Singley. Vanna. Cohen Weaver. Benjamin Mills. Andrew Blair. Hey, Andrew. Madison Portis. Madison. Byron Coleman. Mason Chadwick. Hey, Mason. There you go, Maddie. Come on by here. There you go. Thank you.
Second grade students.
Second grade. Brooks Bonds. Brooks. Asher Mills. Asher. Cynthia Ott. Hey.
When was that?
Henry Tudor. Tyler Turner.
I'm proud of all of you for congratulating me for this award.
I'm proud of you. Congratulating you.
Ezra Stewart. Ezra.
Good job, man. Congratulations on the congratulations.
Hey, yo, you missed. Hey, you missed.
Levi Pickering. Levi. There he comes around from the side. Hempstead. Kingston Hempstead. Kingston, here he comes right here. Colin Mitchell. Carson Jackson. Third grade. Eli Mason. Is that? Okay. Jenna Green. Here, Jenna. Jaden Gaskell. Olivia Stewart. Austin Shimmer. Sammy Island. Luke Andrews. Sebastian Barden. Landon Alea. Landon. Ashlyn Wilson. Okay, moving to the fourth grade, Claire Brewer. Claire Brew. Brooklyn Marciallo. Brooklyn. Okay. Landon Mosley. Chloe Goodell. Is that it? Chloe? Goodell? Connor Broadbent. Connor? Maddox Wilkerson. Zoe Alfred. Christian Jones. Owen Lynch. Stella Weinecker. Fifth grade, Caleb James. Sarah Dixon. Daniel Weaver. Braxton Smith.
Good job, buddy.
Logan Nelson. Logan. Lander Johnston.
Good job, baby.
Maddie Jackson. Serenity Back. Sixth grade, Dulcinea Murphy. Dulcinea. Jacob
Kasperwitz.
Kasperitz. Jacob. Kristen Dudley. Cheyenne Sexton. Cheyenne. Hayden Lassiter. Hey, Hayden. Grayson Altum. Wyatt Holly.
Good job, buddy.
Carly James. Carly? That's it. We thank all of you for coming. Y'all, we're going to take about 5 minutes to let everybody get up and get their stuff or get pictures. But we do appreciate it. Y'all get home and study, and thank y'all for coming. Have a good night.
We're going to take those.
Having a good time? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're trying to build it back up because
I want to go up there, but I'm afraid people will eat me alive. Are y'all?
really important.
Yeah. I mean, that's, they were telling me, it's actually.
Randy, we'll just include that senior report in the next council meeting.
That's
for the
fine.
past month.
That's good.
Okay, it looks like everyone's ready, so thank all of you for coming back in after the key kids. We always enjoy doing, so now is the time we open the floor to visitors to come forward. If somebody's coming forward tonight, they're not been on the agenda, they're welcome to speak. Just remember, we ask you to give your name, your address, and briefly why you're here. If it's something we've discussed in the past, the council may have some interaction or questions. If it's not, it may be something that we will ask you to come back and give us time to research whatever the issue may be. So with that being said, the first one on the agenda tonight is the Women's Club to give an update on Union Chapel. I think Ms. Callan is around right here. I'd overlook you there. I knew you was in our pre-council. Ms. Callan, would you like to come back up tonight? I know you said you'd reapproach during the regular meeting.
Did y'all do the pledge and all that?
We've already done everything. Yes, ma'am. No problem. I'm sorry, I didn't turn the mic back around.
That's okay. In 2015, several women approached the city council with a desire to build a replica of the Union Church. The Union Church was church that my granddaddy actually helped build, and it was Methodist, Baptist, Presbyterian, whatever was in the community. The Baptist church split probably in 1944, 1945, and went across the highway to their own little church. So it became the Satsuma Methodist Church at that time. But their desire was to build a chapel that was a replica of that building. So they approached the council, and the council gave them approval to build it on the Steel Creek complex. So since that time, there's been many fundraising efforts to raise an end goal of $130,000. Back in 2015, they thought that $130,000 would build that chapel. Well, we all know what happened. Price of lumber went up. We lost our president, and I'm still mad at her about that, Mary Atchison. She was a wonderful leader. And COVID hit. So things started to go in really, really slow for us. We approached the council again to build this thing in 2 phases. Phase 1 is almost complete. The doors went in today. The roof should be in if the wind will ever stop blowing, so that they can get on the roof. And then there's a few little cosmetic things he's doing to finish up Phase 1. At that time, the cost of Phase 1 was $142,000. So as you can see, that first phase is $12,000 higher than the original cost of the building was supposed to be. It's really, if you haven't been up there, you need to go see. It's really going to be a neat little building. Phase 2 construction will cost $72,000. $57,000 will need to be raised to finish this project, and that will be finished completely with sidewalks, landscaping. It'll be ready for our first rental person. So tonight we come before the council asking for your help in the amount of $50,000. We have $57,000 is what we actually need to complete the project. $7,000 will come from the Ladies Club, along with $10,000 furnishing fund that will do the pews, the bride's room, the plaques on the wall. So we are responsible for raising the last $17,000. So tonight, we feel like, along with a lot of the citizens in Satsuma, that this is a project that will greatly benefit us. I've had numerous calls. Trish Mara and the City Hall here has had numerous calls. And I have 2 grandsons getting married. And so we've been researching the cost of wedding venues. And I thought we went up to $1,000 for that venue on Saturday and Sunday, or Friday and Saturday, that we were outpricing ourselves. Oh, no. They're in the $6,000 and $7,000 range at this point. So tonight we come asking for your consideration for this $50,000. We would appreciate it. The city, I'm sure, will appreciate it. So whatever you can do for us, we'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Callen. Yes, the chapel is making some headway, and I do think it will be a good addition if we can get it completed. I think it's a good project, it's a good addition. I think it's, you said started in 2015 is when this, so we're 8 years into getting to where we're at right now. And you feel like you need 72,000 to complete from where you're at today?
Actually, $57,000 plus the furnishings. We received a sizable donation from the Mobile County Commission.
The county gave at their last meeting. How much did they give y'all at your last meeting?
$15,000. That's why it came down to $57,000 from the original $72,000.
Okay. I personally don't see any problem with helping the ladies out with the request. I'd like for us to discuss it to see where we can move the money from, so the council will be aware of what we have and how we could do that. That's my thoughts on it.
I haven't seen one like in a long time.
A budget
So we
sheet
can't hear.
from what now?
Do you have a budget sheet like where we used to get it like monthly or quarterly of how much is spent from each budget line? I haven't seen one.
May have heard I had spoke with Erin. She's going to work with Jessica to have y'all a 6-month if you accepted the audit, but I couldn't give you a budget sheet without y'all seeing the audit to move past that, so that's the reason I want to give you.
No, like the things that have been paid out for the year.
Right, and show you where you're at in the budget, kind of like we do at the water department every month, so you'd know, is that what you're asking, where we're at and where our revenues are and where our expenditures are?
Right.
That's,
What does that have to do with the audit?
well, you would need to know where you're at to help see where you're moving forward past that into this year's budget. So you'd have an account balance and you know where we're at.
Mayor, wouldn't this money come out of the American Rescue Plan? I think that's where Ms. Reeves is wanting to know where the money come from.
No, I don't know what the parks have spent this year.
Oh, I thought we was talking about the chapel.
The whole thing, like what Randy's got from his department. You know, we used to get the sheet that would tell us when checks were written from the different line items to see where we were. Like, halfway through, you want to be at 50%. Do
Right.
we have one of those? I don't know
That's what I'm saying.
why we have to wait
The
on the
6
audit.
Because I wanted you to see where we were with the audit and then give you a 6-month, and that's what I said in pre-council. We were hoping to give that to you at the next meeting.
Okay.
So, I want you to see exactly where we're at. But, every bill that we pay is posted right here in the blue binder at every council meeting.
No, that's not what I'm asking for. The thing that we used to get, I guess, when Vicky worked here, that we would get pretty regularly. What am I
And
talking
We have been
about,
working to get,
The revenue and expenditure sheet.
Does that have to wait for the audit? I don't know what that has to do with the audit, though. I'm not sure.
well, I mean, I would like to get back to doing that. And I mean, I thought you heard me say that in pre-council. That would be good, just like we do in the water department. But I mean, there's been some change in the front office, and it's kind of hampered getting some of that.
Yeah, I just don't think that we could make a decision until we see what the numbers are in different departments.
If I can show you the numbers, are you okay with us proceeding with looking in how we could assist the ladies with the chapel?
I mean, we won't know until we see where we are.
How much money we got in American Rescue Fund?
American Rescue.
458,000,
Over 430.
somewhere in there. I mean, wouldn't that money come out of that account? So when I'm getting at this, the rest of the budget really doesn't matter.
Jay, since it's a building that's going to be donated back to the city, I would say it's a structure that I would think would fit into the American Rescue Fund. I'm not positive, but it is a building that's improving a structure at a park.
I would have to look at the parameters under the American Rescue Fund. It is a city building. It's gonna be a city building, so I think the
Right.
city can invest into the building if we choose to do so. It's gonna be part of that complex that belongs to the city.
And, you know, I'd like to say this about the chapel. We spent, what, 142,000, is what you said. You know, the city, we donated the land, but we haven't put no funds into it that I'm aware of. It's time for us to invest in the project because it will be our building. We will get rental off of it. And I've always said, how do you expect people to invest in your city if you don't invest in yourself? You know, personally, I'm for giving the $50,000 to finish the project so we can start the rental. Because personally, I think within a year and a half, 2 years, you'll have your money back in rental fees off weddings. But not only is weddings, you know, somebody brought it to me about funerals. You know, I said, what a great idea for somebody in Satsuma that wants to be buried here at the graveyard. I said, that's a great little church. But it's, you know, it's time for us to invest in it. I mean, I'll invest in any building somebody wanted to give me. I'll put 50,000 for somebody to give me 150. You know, and that's basically what they've asked us to do. They've invested 142,000. They're still going to invest another 15,000, and they're asking us to do 50 to have ownership. There ain't a business guy in the world turn that deal down. So how can we?
I'm in favor of it too. I'd like to see it. Like you say, there's been a lot of money already spent on the project, and from the way it looks, you know, it's gonna take a good while now. Things are gonna slow down dramatically if they don't get some help
Right.
on that end of it.
And it's a gorgeous building.
There's just, you know, I see just a few more things though that we just need to make sure, you know, this is one particular group, you know, and there's other groups in the city. You know, we just need to be careful as far as, you know, giving to this one or giving to that one, or, you know, but like you say, they put a tremendous amount of money already in the project. And I really don't see, you know, like you say, we need to figure out exactly where we need to draw it from.
I agree with that.
But it seems like this is inevitably the thing to do.
Yeah, and you know, Mr. Little, also you're talking about being careful where we give. I mean, most places we give the money, just like you said, to different things. We're putting in the parks and all, we're giving that money. We're investing this money. We go get a return on our money. There's a big difference in it.
And it is a difference.
There's a
I
big
agree.
difference in it.
And they've raised almost $150,000 to date. So, I mean, we can stretch our money a long way. I do understand the council wanting to know where exactly we are financially today, exactly where we can move the money from. That's a fair question. But if we can answer those questions, I mean, I just don't want to go do a lot of work and prepare if there's any opposition here at the table now. Because, I mean, I'd like for us to work that out instead of that being
I wouldn't mind putting it to a
Contingent.
vote that if we can draw it at the rescue plan, that we do it.
I feel like we've used that a lot, like, hey, we're gonna get this out of the rescue, so I'd kind of like to see where we are and what we've spent on that, before we move forward. And I understand that this is an opportunity, this is different than trying to get the city to do something in the fact that, they just need the money, because they already have the people that are gonna take care of it, and I feel like that's one of the shortcomings that we have in the city is the manpower to do things. So it would be a no-brainer just to be able to, give them the money and have it completed, because we would know that people are lined out to do that. But I would just like to know where it's gonna come from and just see where we are, and make sure we're good with every other department. So when the time does come to start spending the money, then we'll be able to know, that we're covered and everything's good, so.
Well, I would like for us to have some workshops in the not-too-distant future to discuss the money we have, like you said, in the ARPA money and other things, because we have to have that money has got to be specifically related to projects by 2024, is my understanding, or else we could end up losing the money.
Sure.
So, I mean, that's something we have a few months to work on, but with the work that we've done at Steel Creek Lodge, at the lodge, and what's going on with the Go Mesa project now, I would really like to complete what's there at Steel Creek when this is over. And let's move on to some of the other parks for some, additions and all that we've been discussing for a couple of years now. But we've got that construction going on, and it's a lot going on down there. If you go down during the day, whenever they're working on the building, and you see 3 track hoes out there with all that stuff moving during the day, it's a lot going. So I would, providing we can show you where the money is at, do you have any opposition at that point?
I don't know. I mean, I think it seems reasonable.
Mayor, I'd like to put it in form of motion, we give them the money. I mean, we can beat this to death another 2 or 3 months. I think it's important we move forward on it.
Okay. There was a request that came before us from the Ladies Club for an additional $50,000 to help them complete the chapel. And we've discussed this numerous times for 2.5 years now. I know, as they've said, they've been discussing it since 2015. There's a motion on the floor for us to pay the $50,000 if it's legal from the American Rescue Fund. And that will be probably our last contribution now. So we're going to have to stretch that and find.
And we can pay it in invoices too, if they're worried about, instead of just handing the money, we can pay the invoices as they come in.
And we'd like the county would, I'm sure that there's going to be some strings attached, making sure that we show where the completion is moving along with the progress that goes. So we're not just going to upfront it, but as the bills come due. I don't have a problem with that. Mr. Butler, have you said?
No, I saw, what did you say?
The number we're asking for is 50,000. The final number is 57, and with 10,000 that we set aside for furnishings.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mike, I didn't. You have anything else, Mr. Butler, along those lines? Mr. Skelton, you have any?
No, I'm supportive of the project. I just want to, like Ms. Reese does, I want to see where we're going to pull it from. That's all I'm asking for. But I am supportive of the project, 100%.
I mean, it could be like we want to do it from capital or something.
I mean, you may look at it and you may decide you want to pull half from here and half from somewhere else. I mean, which is a reasonable
That's fine.
thing to do.
And I can go along with you on that. That's not a problem. So that's what you just want to know is where we're at financially, where the money's coming from, Ms. Reese? Mr. Phillips, you've already made the motion, so I know your feelings would be yes on that too. There's a motion on the floor that we move toward the funding of up to $50,000 for the Women's Club to complete the chapel at Still Creek. We can report back in 2 weeks from tonight where the money could be moved from. As Mr. Skelton has said, we may move it from general fund or capital or from the American Rescue money that we do have left over. All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Phillips, seconded by Mr. Butler. Any further discussion? All those,
The discussion now, I mean, just to satisfy Ms. Reese, I mean, I agree to give them the money, but are we gonna vote again as to how to spend it?
I want to see the numbers before I vote.
I mean,
there's nothing going to be,
We just were presented with it tonight.
That's gonna happen. I mean, one way or another, if we got the money, it's just depending on where it's gonna come from.
that is correct. Okay, I mean, we got a motion and a second, so we've had discussion, we're gonna put it for a vote, unless y'all rescind it, but that's the reason I was saying before any money was expended, that we would identify clearly what account it would be coming from before any money goes out, and we're going to see what we're getting for the money.
Okay.
If you'd like to put it off until the next meeting, so we can show the accounts and where it's at, if that's what you're,
I think we'll need some time to look at the numbers. When do you think you'll have I guess you said it needs to,
We
the
can have
audit
it- we
needs to
can
be
have it.
approved before you,
well, when we get into that, I'm going to see if y'all, I think there was some concern, if you remember, pre-council. So I'm going to present what the findings were tonight from my standing, so that's up to y'all now. If you accept it, you accept it, and then we'll move forward, have you, some account balances and a 6-month financial at the next council meeting, 2 weeks from tonight.
yeah.
We have a motion and a second.
Motion and a second.
I'd like a roll call.
Yes.
Hold on, I think, there was another question now, so we're still open for discussion. Mr. Skelton?
I understand the motion of granting the 50,000, I understand that. But are we just saying, is the motion from a specific place, or is it from somewhere unknown? That's why it's gonna
I
be hard
think
for me to vote.
if I understood Mr. Phillips' statement tonight, we're going to research and see if we can move it from the ARPA money, American Rescue. I feel like since it's going to be a city building on city property, I feel like from my limited knowledge that it would probably be okay. If it is, that's what I would recommend that we do. I mean, that's, I mean, I would almost have to think if we can use it for bonuses for people, we could definitely use it for a building. That's what I would think. So that was what I understood the motion to be. If possible, we would move it from the ARPA. But as everything, it will be brought back to the council for, to make sure that they agree. A motion was made by Mr. Phillips. It was seconded by Mr. Butler. No further discussion. He asked for a roll call vote. I have no opposition to a roll call vote, so, Ms. Jones, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
Yes. Councilmember Skelton?
Yes.
Councilmember Reese?
Not at this time.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Mayor Barlow?
Yes. Okay. Okay, ladies, hopefully that'll give you the answer you need to move forward. Tonight earlier, there was we had another person who was on the agenda, but she addressed her concerns at pre-council. It was Ms. Paula Goff regarding forming of an art walk that she hopes to hold on June the 2nd from 6 to 9 p.m. at Baldwin Square. She asked the council to consider closing the roads around Baldwin Square for pedestrian traffic. It would be the first event that I know of like that for us. So she's going to get with the police department and try to work out some details, and over the course of time between now and then, we'll have to come back to vote to close the road, or I guess to assist her to try to do it. So hopefully she'll do it and the weather will cooperate that night and it can be a successful event. So I told her I would just bring it back up for the minutes of the meeting tonight, that she can, as she puts this plan together.
The only thing that I would ask is if somebody could go up there, I guess at the time prior to the event, but at a time closer to 9. I know when I walk that sidewalk across from the square, there's a tree that has pushed the sidewalk up, and I feel like that's a hazard at night. So if there's anything potentially where people are going to be walking after dark around the square that we need to like highlight, or maybe bring some additional lighting in, or some signage, some cones, something that would be a proactive approach for any safety incidents that might happen. We just want everybody to be careful.
Sure.
Being up there after dark.
George, would you please put that, make a note or send an email to Travis in the morning for them to check that? Are you talking about around the square side of it? Because we just did the repair now across the road from it.
Yeah, I know, I got that. This
43.
would be across, the ditch that's, I guess basically if you're like in the middle of the square straight across to 43, it's just a large tree that's just pushed that section up. So that just makes me think that it's potential for other areas. You know how there's like the little, the boardwalk that kind of goes across the ditch where people can walk? I'd hate for somebody to step off that if it's not well lit, if they're going to try to cross that at night.
Good point.
Just anything that, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
we would work on that.
Safety
Good, but
issue.
Please make sure we send that over. And like I said, that wooden walk right across the ditch, we may need to check that anyway.
Maybe some like white paint just across it, on the edges,
Okay,
just to bring some visibility to it.
yeah. Good point. Ms. Robbins, you got anything to approach tonight on?
I
Yeah.
was here for key students. Thank y'all for that program.
You're welcome.
You see how many students, even this late in the year, are still thrilled to come up. So thank y'all for that.
You're welcome. Okay, is there anyone else who would like to come before the council tonight, or anything else? Okay, we're going to move on to the mayor's report. All the stuff I had tonight was basically things that we are just reporting back from, a lot of them. I did express to the council and to the citizens here tonight that we did lose one of our long-term citizens who had moved away recently, but Miss Poole, mother of Johnny, Mike, and Mark, passed away. Miss Kilpatrick, a longtime citizen, and also Pumpkin Hoven, a young man, passed away here since our last meeting. One of the police cars we purchased back, when was it? Starting to remember, it was back late October, early November. Well, it was the one we got to, yeah, right. But anyway, it's out back if y'all want to see that, so we did get that, and it's in now. I reported to the council that the intersection was about finished at our last meeting. Since that time, in front of, at Pennsylvania Crossing and 43, they've removed the barricades and all now. I think they're going to come back in just a couple more weeks, do the striping and all, so that project will be finished, and hopefully that will be the last we've heard of those potholes and complaints of people trying to get in and out of the Chevron and the Pilot there.
I went out this morning, grabbed my coffee, and didn't realize it wasn't gonna spill.
And the rose bushes look great now. They were able to go in there and get them cleaned up.
They were working on that.
They look really good.
Thank you. I thought it looked a lot nicer, too. We mentioned the Go Mesa project. As it's going, there's days it seem like they really get a lot done, and there's a couple days it seem like they don't get a lot, but the project is moving. I think each of you got a copy of the report here that we got from Goodwin Mills and Kaywood yesterday. I had them to make y'all a copy to put with your council packet tonight, so hopefully y'all will go down and take a look, and you can see the some of the equipment they've got in here in the last couple of days.
Mayor, you think we're gonna make that 22nd completion date?
Well, as you know, I think the project is moving pretty good, but when it did start, we had some high water and rain that kept them cut for a couple of weeks, and they have not approached us asking for an extension.
When was
but-
that tournament, that kids tournament? Anybody remember the date they come up here with on that? I was just,
Oh, it was around the
it
sixth.
was in May. I just don't remember if it was the
Oh, it was
first
the
or
first
middle.
Saturday.
If it's second week of May, we might be good. That's the
We'd
only
let
reason I
them
was-
know that the lodge, when they called us, it may not be available this year because.
Yeah,
of
he
the-
knew that, and I'm just curious, just trying to keep up.
George, let's try to follow up on that tomorrow, but we hadn't heard from them.
They've set all
I
the
think they-
the launches, and a lot of the poles drove now.
Yeah, the kids, not the high
Oh,
school.
no, you're talking about the other one. I thought you were talking about the high school. I'm sorry, you're
He's
right.
talking about the kids.
Yeah. I have not heard back from him since that time regarding the,
That other dock on the other side over there is gonna be great, too. It's gonna look great.
it's going to add a lot more dock space, that's for sure.
It's gonna add a lot more eye appeal, too.
Yeah, I think so. All right, but ride down and look at it, and y'all can see, and we'll take any suggestion. They've been very receptive to anything I've asked them, or if any, questions just come forth with the citizens and all, so. Reminded y'all of two things. The first one on April the 15th, on Saturday, that'll be Saturday week, Mr. Billy Joe Reed is opening his car museum on Baldwin Road. I hope all of you can come by and see it that day and see some of the automobiles that Mr. Reed has up there. And also here with us tonight, y'all may not realize it, we have a distinguished author with us, Mr. Emmett Burnett. So if y'all's schedule will allow, on the 15th between 2 and 3 p.m. at the Chickasaw Library, Emmett's going to have a book signing. So I hope to make it by there, and congratulations on that. So that's, we're real proud of some of the articles you've written over the years for our little area here of the north end of the county. A couple of you I know came in the pre-council, but we have some promotions that's coming up in public safety. We got a fire promotion that's on the books, or on the agenda. We've got some police department dispatchers and corporal promotions that are open. I was asking the council about having something maybe like at 5:30 before a council meeting, and there was some discussion, we could do it on the 18th of this month, or we could push it back to give all the people time to, we actually give the department heads time to get with their personnel, make any schedule changes they may have to do to accommodate it, and make it for May the 2nd. We could do it just like at 5:30 p.m. and go ahead and, I would think that probably 30, 45 minutes should be adequate time to recognize them if that's okay.
Tuesday
Y'all
the second.
think, I know you've got some travel this month and stuff, so it may work out better if we give y'all a few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks to work everything out. Okay? You make a second. Do y'all think that would be a good idea to do that, and let's just kind of do it? Maybe we can get Mr. Emmett to even write a little story
What
on them,
day?
and all the promotions. It'd be the first council meeting in May, 1 month.
5:30?
Yes, we'll do it at 5:30 p.m.
You should have punch and cookies.
Okay, we're going to discuss the sidewalks, the planning board. I did want to report back to the council that we did have a nice trip to Washington. We learned some things. hopefully we found a few sources that might be some funding for some projects that we're looking at in the future. Like I said, it was really nice. We had some of our neighboring cities, Baldwin County had a good participation also, some of our neighboring cities over there. So I hope that a couple more will look at attending that next year. On the 28th, we had the meeting at the GM&O building. George attended, and then I attended the public hearing for the Federal Highway Commission that was soliciting input regarding the road projects in our area and the things that the local MPO does and helps fund. That was a real good meeting, and hopefully that'll continue to help us with some of these projects. Reminded everyone of the municipal dinner on the 20th in Chickasaw this year at 7 p.m. If y'all would, please let Jessica know or else respond to the email I think they have sent out to everyone. The other things are going to be covered later on in the agenda, so that's the what I have from the mayor's report. So if there's nothing, no questions or anything else, Mr. Little?
Mayor, the inspections report, we've got 17 open building permits right now. 10 of those is new homes being built. We have 11 open standalone trade permits. We closed out 26 permits, and we done 38 site inspections last month. And we also worked on 5 nuisance inspections, so 5 different places there that we're trying to work on some of that. And also we attended an code official meeting located in the Home Builders Association building. And you mentioned the MPO. I had a seniors report, but I seem to have misplaced it, so I'll give it at a later date. Other than that, I think that's all.
Okay, and you had mentioned that we might try to increase the funding. Do you want to try to let's do that this month, or?
Yeah, if we can, maybe just say $50. We'll just see how that goes, and hopefully that'll be sufficient.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Randy. Mr. Butler?
We got the report for the fire department for the month of March. MS calls, we had 75 calls. Fire-related calls, we got 17. Burning bills, fires, we got 2. Mutual aid calls, we got aid given, 5, and aid received, we got 2. For the total calls in March, we had 99 calls. And that's all I have.
Okay, I think you had the police report also. You did the fire report?
didn't see that.
Okay. You want to go ahead and give the police report?
Okay, for March, for the police department, we got calls for service. We had 472. For felony cases, we got 15. Felony arrests, we got 8. Misdemeanors cases, we had 73. Misdemeanor arrest, we had 56. Traffic accidents, we had 9. Citations, we had 61. And for the calls for the previous month, we had 405, 56.
Okay.
So that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Butler. Moving on to administration, Mr. Skelton.
I don't have anything.
Parks, Ms. Reese?
Yes, sir. Just a few things. So the school board applications, I know that that's come to a close. Do we want to try to set something up to review those, or try to set up some interviews? Question mark. And then also the sign at the south entrance to the building, to the city, we're going to look into the banner that's there.
It's only a replacement. I'm not sure what's taking them so long on the signs.
Okay. And then don't forget about the flagpoles on the north end. Now that the project is completed, we were going to see about getting the upgraded flagpoles with the city and state flag in addition to the US flag. And then, I noticed at the lodge, you know, we have the new sign that directs people where to go, but I feel like they're turning in front of that sign. I don't know if you've seen where people are making like a road, dirt road, right in front of that sign, and it's very muddy, and it's causing people to drive the dirt into the parking lot. I don't know if y'all have noticed that. So I wonder if people are mistaking that as the entrance instead of going up past the sign to the actual asphalt entrance, if maybe we could.
George, you know what she's talking about there? Going in, I think when it's dark at night, people turn, and it looks like they've kind of started making their own drive. We may have to get with Travis and put something there. So,
I think because it's
Back
like, it
shade.
says community center and it's got like an arrow like this, so I don't know if people are like, you know, turn, because they're not, I'd hate for that grass to, you know, I don't want it to be a muddy mess.
we can put an arrow or something down there, what she's saying. I know what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Okay, and then, Lions Park. So when I go past that park, every time I'm like, how can we do a parking lot? So, I don't know if maybe in the off-season, we can all put our heads together and possibly get the like, you know how we rent the county equipment? And they'll use that to help us in the city. If we could somehow maybe like get like a backhoe to kind of like take the angle out of that and then bring it down to one level and then kind of maybe put some like, what are the like little concrete strips where people pull up to, so we could have some kind of organized parking, because the washout in that parking lot gets really bad and it changes after each rain, even though we fill it in. And I'd rather have like a more permanent solution if we could maybe look at some options, after they're done with baseball, of course. And, you know, kind of as you drive by there, maybe put it on your radar and see if you guys have any ideas of how we could improve that area. And just for the safety of the kids and whatnot. And that's all I have.
Okay, Ms. Reese, thank you. Mr. Phillips?
No new business, Mayor.
Okay, Ms. Skelton, I know you usually do the bills, like you got them there. I don't know if you want to look at them or,
I'm good.
Mr. Phillips, you looked at a total?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $139,706.95.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Phillips to pay the bills in the amount of $139,706.95. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Paid the bills. We have a resolution, ordinance, orders, and other business. A, Resolution 2023-04-01. That was what Alan Killen with Civil Southeast was here tonight regarding the authorizing the City of Satsuma to approve Civil Southeast LLC to provide engineering for the sidewalk improvements. It's in your packet here. I think we have a total cost estimate of about $557,000, of which a little over $403,000 will be paid by the TAP grant that we have received.
I'll put that in the motion, Mayor.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Phillips, seconded by Ms. Reese, to put Resolution 2023-04-01 up for immediate adoption. I think we got to have a roll call on that for immediate, don't we? Give us a roll call, please.
Yes.
Councilmember Butler?
Yes.
Councilmember Skelton?
Yes.
Councilmember Reese?
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips?
Yes.
Mayor Barlow?
Well, first, thank you, and yes. Okay,
gonna do it
same to put up a motion to, for immediate adoption of resolution, the resolution now that we've put it up.
I'll put it in the motion, Mayor.
Second.
Motion again made by the same two, Mr. Phillips, Ms. Reese. We put the said resolution 2023-0401 up for immediate adoption. All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Those opposed. Okay, ordinance 546. Jay, is there a timetable saying that the council don't,
I didn't see one in any of the literature that, you know, I think they're wanting us to make a decision, but I didn't see we have to do it tonight. If that's
okay, can we respond back to them that we received their their letter, and it was presented to the council, and we're going to lay it over to vote for the next meeting. Just let them know we did receive their letter and that we do intend to act on it next week. And I'd kind of recommended that if we look at the jurisdiction, that we do just a mile and a half. But that's whatever y'all think if you get out.
Mayor, I have no
So-
problem with that after we talked. I
Yeah.
did not realize if you went 3 miles, you had to do fire and police also.
So we'll, okay, well, we're going to put that on the agenda, so if we can, we're just going to lay ordinance 546 over till the following meeting 2 weeks from tonight, and that'll give everybody time to look at it, because it is quite lengthy correspondence that we received from that.
And then, I think I mentioned in pre-council that we were currently going a mile and a half. George says we're not. We're going just to the city limits. So
So-
we would be, on the subdivision, so we would actually be extending.
Yeah. So the mile and a half is what we've been doing anyway, so. And that's what I think would probably be the best, but we'll do it. The council voted for an executive session to last for approximately 15 minutes tonight at the conclusion of the meeting. Is there any other business that needs to come before the council before we go into executive session? I will need a motion and a second, and like I said, I believe its time is right at 17, so we're anticipating the 15, 20 minutes that we'll be here, but when we come back, we'll just adjourn the meeting. You're welcome to stay, but I wouldn't blame you if y'all all decided to leave. So do I have a motion to go into executive?
Got to do a roll call on it.
Roll call, that's right, I'm sorry, I said it in the pre-council and didn't tonight. We have to have a roll call to go in executive session. Mr. Little has made a motion.
Second.
Mr. Skelton has seconded the motion. Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Y'all excuse us for about 15 minutes if y'all will leave. Y'all go ahead and we'll see y'all later. Thank you.